Previously on Tales of the Free Folk, a new fellowship has formed after the Battle of Trestlebridge. Carvet Logsplitter, Pineleaf Needles, and May the Elf Minstrel have joined forces with the mysterious pair, Andang the Champion, and Sarissa Reeve, another minstrel. Together they have traveled north to the heart of the former northern orc camp to investigate sightings of campfire smoke, and to assess whether the town is still under threat of hostile forces. And if I remember, we actually left on a cliffhanger last time, so take it away, Gray.
Yeah. So if everyone remembers, last time when they were investigating these ruins where the orcs had set up their encampment, Sarissa was following the campfire smoke, and she slid on the gravel, it rolled down, and instantly the four people who were sitting around the campfire just snapped their attention to her. So then we cut to black.
Wait. I was pretty sure there were only two guys last time.
No, there were four. I wrote down four.
They're multiplying, don't worry.
Somebody threw water on them.
I can look at my GM roll log. And
it's fine, there's four.
There's definitely four.
Somebody fed them after midnight.
So I think right now we're going to cut back to Pineleaf, who's been sent back to find the rest of the party. So Pineleaf, you're able to make it back to outside the encampment. It's pretty easy. If you just take off in a direction, you can get outside of the ruins and you can see your friends. What do you say?
All right. Now I'm trying to remember back from 2 weeks ago. I was sent back before she made her little slip, if I recall correctly, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. So all I know is that she was investigating further, and I can't even remember exactly what.
I said I totally had it handled. Go get the others, but it's probably not a big deal.
Okay, yes, all right, very well. I will go. It says everything looks fine so far, and it's time for us to go forward.
Okay, so we should just follow you, right, Pineleaf?
Yeah, and I'll lead them back to the camp.
Everything looks fine, he says.
Pineleaf, roll a navigation check. This isn't to see whether you get back to where you were. This is to see how long it takes you to get back to where you are.
Okay. So, all right. So it shouldn't take more than 5 years for this to happen.
It's down at the bottom, isn't it?
Those hobbit legs don't work so good. They don't go so fast.
Okay. So, cutting back to Sarissa, you have slid on the gravel. There's now 4 people looking your way. I guess the thing that you see, just looking directly at them, I know that you have an attention to fashion. And so they're dressed in they have like thin hides wrapped around their bodies. It's not like formal robes or anything. They've been worn down. These clothes have seen better days. There might be a few patches here and there on them. One of them, you get the impression he's the leader. He's got like this rich red beard and shaved head. He's holding just like this large ceremonial sword. It's not brandished. He's kind of like leaning on it. The blade's in the ground, and he's holding the hilt. Two of the 4 have like hand axes. One of them has hand axes. One of them has a quarterstaff, and the 4th is sort of like he looks the most threadbare of them all, and he's just he has like a chisel, and he's whittling away by the campfire.
You guys, it's Robin Hood and his merry men.
Are we suddenly in the last unicorn stories?
No, we're in the test round that Andang did a few months ago.
So to clarify, Sarissa, you're still by yourself. Your friends haven't arrived yet.
Yes, I am still by myself, and I am completely not have any weapons whatsoever.
Right.
You know what, Sarissa, you know what I'm waiting for you to do? I'm waiting for you to go, hi!
So as soon as you see them turning to look at you and you take in the situation, what do you do?
Well, I stand up and brush myself off and look like I totally meant to do that. And then I wave and I say, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Kuasahafu!
Oh my.
Shamarathahu.
You don't happen to speak the common tongue, Western, something not gibberish?
Use an emote. Use an emote. Slap him with a fish.
So their expressions are guarded, but they're not hostile yet.
Yet.
They sort of turn to the leader fellow with the beard and the sword, and so he stands up. He still hasn't brandished the sword, but he's still holding it. He's ready to go if necessary. And he says to you, "Please excuse, this is not our first language."
Oh, that's completely okay. That's totally fine.
But we do ask where you come from.
Up the hill.
Well, most recently I come from up the hill.
Who of these there were?
But actually, my father is a baker in Brie, and I left home in search of new recipes, so this is my first real time away from home. Playing music is a way to pay.
They're not like he's not paying attention anymore. He's like looking back at his friends and they're Baker, Brie, and they look confused.
Do they pull like out a common tongue translation from like Russian to common tongue?
Scroll. Like a scroll. They open up.
No. As far as you can tell, what you've seen so far is all that they have.
Okay.
There's no, and there are, sorry, on the floor that they sort of put down when they noticed you are little like metal tins that they were eating out of when you came in.
My father makes food, bread, cakes, that sort of thing. That's what a baker is.
He nods. Baker. Okay.
And
It is always good to
I'm a
learn new words.
musician. I play music. I have a flute.
Flute.
Play it. Pull it out.
I'm gonna get it out of my pocket. Don't stab me. Please don't stab me. So I'm gonna get the flute out of my pocket and show
As
it.
you're reaching into your pocket, his fingers tighten on the grip of the sword, but he doesn't attack.
I think he thinks she's cute.
So I get the flute out of my pocket and I show it to them what it looks like.
Okay.
It's a very simple carved wooden flute.
Let's see what skills you have.
I think he's deciding if she's concubine material.
Okay. Yeah, so give me a performance flute. Are you playing the flute or are you just showing it to him?
I'm just showing it to him.
Okay, if you're just showing it to him, he asks you to play something.
Okay, so I will play a very short piece on the flute.
Don't play a DPS song. The song is copyrighted.
An original tune.
Pipcorn.
So give me a performance flute skill check.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so he's impressed. There are some among our people who also play that. We have a different word for that, of course.
Of course.
That still does not answer the question of what brings you here. My name is Fuel.
His name is
And-
what?
Fuel.
Fuel?
Fuel.
Okay. My name is Sarissa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have trouble telling your voices apart. Okay, so my name is Fuel, and this is where our people had settled before the Bokain drove us away.
Oh.
Sorry, who drove you away?
The Bokain, ugly, sunken face. And like he looks back at his friends for support, and one of them's like Bokain. and starts pantomiming like a monster.
Orcs?
Oh. Orc, perhaps. I do not know if they make that sound.
Some sort of creature drove you from your homeland. Got it. No problem. I happened to see the smoke from your fire and was curious. Was hoping maybe I could come down and find some folk to share stories with.
Perhaps later, if you would like to accompany us. But right now, we have a job to do. He talks back to his men, and we, the audience, see as like subtitles what they're saying. But Sarissa does not understand. And it's just like he's saying like, would she endanger the success of the mission? And one of the friends says like, we can't leave her here on her own. And then the leader says, we can at least invite her to have breakfast. So then he turns back to Sarissa, and in Westron, he says, we were just finishing up our meal. Would you like to share with us?
Oh, that's awfully nice of you. I actually had breakfast back in the town before I left. But if you let me see your dishes, I might be able to make it taste a little bit better.
See for yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, what are you using?
Well, there's no skill for cooking because we decided it wouldn't be important.
Oh.
Roll straight D6s.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just give me 2. Hold on. Let me see if there's something better. That's something better that you have.
Instructor, maybe?
What do you mean? Because what do you mean there is no skill for cooking? Because I have that down as crafting cooking.
Yeah, you can have crafting cooking. When we had that conversation, Terry, it was more that cooking wouldn't give you food with the same bonuses as it does in Lotro, because cooking and eating isn't a thing we do in this game. But you could have the crafting cooking skill. I'm gonna let you roll deception because I assume you're gonna say cooking based on the story that your father's a baker.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a deception check.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh, man.
Well, if your father is someone who makes food, then you probably can do wonders with what we have. Here, see. And he picks up his tin and he gives it to you. And it's like this. It looks like dry bread, but it's a paste consistency, and they've added some sort of liquid to it that it's sort of bubbling in places and it's hardening in others.
Okay. Well, handy herbs are handy, so I'll just grab a sprinkle of some sort of seasoning and just kind of sprinkle it over the dish.
Like grabbing from just a plant nearby and just crushing
something. Come on, I carry tools of the trade with me.
Okay.
I have to carry stuff with me to back up the stories I'm going to tell. So, you know.
Okay, I'll say you have the herbs.
Salt or something.
You probably nicked them from the innkeeper before you left.
Absolutely. And in payment for how we were treated, yeah.
Okay, so
absolutely.
you sprinkle the herbs. Do you taste it first, or do you just hand it back?
Oh, I taste it first, because a good cook always tastes just a little bit.
And how does it taste? Or I guess I should tell you.
Well, yeah, tell me how it tastes. Does it taste better?
So, like without the herbs, what you're tasting, it's kind of like a mushy bread, I guess.
Like a wheat bread mashed up.
There's like a hint of salt.
Cram.
Basically.
It's cram meal. So
but it's more liquid than you would think cram would be. It's like if you had cram and then soaked it in water.
Yeah, okay.
And then sprinkled herbs on it.
There's,
No, it's
there's
Italian
not a
cream
whole lot I
of
can do to
crab.
make it taste a whole lot better, but disguise some of the nastiness anyway.
Okay. So how does that taste to Sarissa?
Probably about the best I'm gonna do with it.
Okay. So you hand it back to him, or
Yeah,
keep eating?
I'll hand it back to him. It's not a huge improvement, but there's definitely some improvement there. There's not a whole lot I can do with it. Sorry.
Okay. So he takes a bite, and you see like his friends behind him are sort of like, what's gonna happen when he eats it? He's just for a while. And
Does he die? Does he?
She poisoned him. No.
okay, he likes it.
Hey,
This is indeed good. What do you call this leaf that you've added?
Sage.
Sage. I always have trouble with that j sound. So he sits down, and I think this is when the rest of the party arrives. So how are you arriving? Sort of like how are you arranged? You start with profile and like small groups, or
I probably show up first since
Walking.
I know Terry the most and hope that like nothing bad has happened.
Well,
And
are we going cautiously at all? I mean, are we just figured nothing's wrong?
Well, I assumed that there was nothing wrong, so
Yeah, it was
So
generally
meeting you.
yeah, it was indicated that there was no
up to you.
no feeling of danger. Yeah.
Okay.
But I
So
know
we're just kinda
Terry,
going- Right.
so I'm kind of hurrying over. I'm not letting everyone else know that I'm kind of worried,
Because
but
Andang thinks I get in trouble a lot.
I'm
Oh.
definitely
Ah,
ahead of
okay.
everybody.
But does Anding know
Kinda
the
like-
way?
He's kind of like, just because Terry said it was okay doesn't mean it's okay, kind of thing. Yeah.
So I'm guessing I asked Pineleaf like where it is, and then kind of just went over in that direction. And then I look
Ahead of
over,
everybody else.
and I see that Terry has put like expired herbs onto this stuff, and I'm like, what are you
They're not
doing, Terry?
expired herbs.
All right, fair enough. So I just walk up and kind of like motion to Terry and try to like have her explain what's going on.
Roll stealth.
Okay. All right.
Was that stealth, and it just shows up as athletics?
Yeah, that's stealth. It's just
Oh.
posting wrong apparently.
Oops, that's my bad then. Okay.
Apparently.
So, yeah, you're able to motion to Sarissa, but as soon as she, do you notice this, Sarissa?
Yes, I would imagine I would notice it.
Okay, so
Because I
are you going
absolutely
to-
know that the rest of the party is supposed to be arriving at some point.
So are you ignoring? So right now he's invited you to sit down, and you see Andang sort of waving at you. Are you going to continue sitting down and ignore Andang, or are you going to react to Andang?
I'm going to react to Andang, but also sit down.
Okay.
So there were some other adventurers who were sort of headed in the same direction, and they may be showing up any time now.
It's like one of the others is just like Khan Fami Duilich, and the leader, the Redbeard, we'll call him, or Fjol, you know his name. So Fjol, he says, what my friend here is worried of is exactly how many friends you are bringing with you. How do we know that we can still trust you?
Well, first of all, I'm here instead of with them, and I'm sitting with you so that they have an incentive to hopefully be peaceful. Unfortunately, I can't really guarantee their behavior because they don't have a whole lot of respect for musicians. These friends of mine, so. But hopefully we can manage this encounter peacefully, because I'd really like to not get stabbed.
We see a subtitled conversation again where the leader says, evidently she is friends with barbarians. And then, like, the friends just sort of nod. They have not backed down their threat level, but they're not aggressive yet. So I think this time is when the rest of the party arrives. Do you see Andang first and ask him what's going on, or do you just sort of catch up with him and look at the scene?
You mean, do I see Terry first?
No,
That's
the
what's
rest
going
of the group.
Everyone
behind
else
you.
who's now caught up.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm
It's
warily
Sarissa.
surveying the scene. I see Sarissa is amongst these guys, but I see she's not in any kind of immediate danger. They look wary, but she's also not looking as wary as she could be. So I've got my eyes, and Andang looks like Andang. So I'm really not reading much of what Andang's saying. I'm kind of watching Sarissa and watching their body posture to see if the threat level escalates, but otherwise I'm just kind of hanging back.
Okay.
Definitely not rushing in to see what Terry's up to, or Sarissa's up to.
Anyone else have anything they want to do?
I'm just gonna go up and like carefully approach them and say hello and sit down kind of close to Terry.
I'm hanging with the little man.
All right. Well, then I might as well sit on the other side of Sarissa then.
So they're like the guy who was just whittling by the fire. He's starting to just nervously. He's breathing heavier. He's being like he sees these strangers approaching, and then he
Okay,
just
so at
starts
this
asking.
point, I'm going to make introductions.
Okay.
Hello to my new friends. This is Fuel. I unfortunately did not get everybody else's names, but this is Andang and Carvette and May and Pineleaf.
Do any of you add on to the introduction, or just allow that to be there?
I just bow.
At your service.
Phil says, and I suppose we can introduce the others as well. He addresses the rest of you. Cirrus already knows. I am the only one who speaks your tongue. My associates only know our native language. But this is... What are their names? This is Balin, and he gestures to the one with the axes in his belt. This is Gole, the one with the quarterstaff, and the threadbare guy, and this is Klabar.
Got that, guys?
We are enough people, and we settled in these hills and these ruins before she called them Orcus. Orcus drove us out.
Ooh.
Orcs drove you
How
out.
long ago was that?
Oh, 3 moons, I believe. Oh, nearly 3.
Ah.
You are new to the area, then.
No. 3 moons is when we were driven away. We have lived here for many years. Before my mother was born, I believe. We came back because something was sent to us that we hoped that the orcs have not despoiled, and we need to reclaim it. It is important to our people. I take it there is a town called Bree, somewhere beyond these ruins?
Trestlebridge or Bree?
No, Bree. I mentioned.
Bree. Okay, Bree. Okay, Bree.
There's a town called Bree.
It's a ways
the
away.
To the south. It's to the south a few days. Across the river.
And you all came from this Bree.
Well, I came from Stattle, which is next to Bree.
Like, subtitle aside, so many names. Okay. So there are towns beyond. We knew this to be true, but our people have not had contact with many others for quite some time. At least not outside of our own kin. what brings you into these ruins? There is... Well, why now, all of a sudden, and not in any of the years before?
Well, as it turns out, we were recently in Trestlebridge, which is the closest village, which we were recently in last night. It was attacked by orcs not that long ago, and the mayor saw that there was smoke coming from this area, and he asked us to investigate.
He yells at Gala. We see the subtitle yell, like, I told you we should have covered up the smoke better. Please excuse me, that was a matter of argument on our part. Please continue. Or is that the end of it?
That's pretty much the end of the
That's
story.
pretty much it.
Yes, we were
I
just wanting
see.
to make sure that there weren't more orcs down here.
Oh,
Because they were a threat, as you would know if they drove you from your home.
yes, we also hope there are no orcs here. We saw the fires, and we assumed that the orcs had been defeated. We came out here to make sure of that ourselves and to see if we could recover our artifact.
Tell me about this artifact. I'm curious to know of your culture.
There's a small discussion which we don't get subtitles for, but you hear a lot of hard K's, R's, and A sounds. Sounds like language, as you've heard so far. And the leader says, my companions believe that it is too important to our people to speak too much on the matter. I don't believe it would be valuable for trade outside of our people, but let us say it was a ceremonial piece of armor that is part of a ritual that our kin engage in.
Armor, interesting.
A ceremonial piece of armor?
Yes. A greave, to be
I was trying to remember. Way back at the beginning of this entire thing, there was a helmet that was involved, and I was wondering.
And a cloak.
Did we ever find out what that was all about?
No, I think we're about to get to the info. Let me ask you a question then. Having traveled the length and breadth of Eriador. Triveled. I've triveled, Dellywag, Cashade, and even the occasional prance. But we won't speak of it now. This armor that you are looking for, could you give me any distinguishing marks? Because I may have seen something in my travels that could point you in the direction to know if such a thing has turned up in my travels.
Well, it is a greave, a leg armor. It protects the front of the leg. And
yes.
Okay. And engraved onto this greave was the emblem of our clan. 7 stars arranged in a line, and on top of that, a broken crown. And so for the players, this is similar, but it is not the same symbol as what is on the helmet.
I kind of whisper over in Sarissa's ear, and I'm like, what are these people talking about?
You're talking about treasure. Shut up.
Very interesting.
It was wrought out of copper hundreds of years ago, possibly more. It was one of the founding tokens of our clan. And it has been passed down for generations, and it left our possession for over 1,000 years, and it was recently brought back to us right before the orcs drove us out.
So, is it possible that it's what brought the orcs?
It is possible, but the orcs have much better armor than that. I do not understand.
Well,
it has historical significance, but I do not think that the orcs would understand that.
Yeah, well, what happened is that during our travels, we saw a helmet that had not the exact same decorations, but similar style, and
Like
I
as
just
soon as you
really,
said helmet, he just turned serious. You saw the helmet.
yeah,
Where did you find this helmet?
it was in a goblin camp just outside of Staddle.
Goblin. Are they
Gob-
like
Oh,
the
like
are they like the
small,
like
orcs?
orcs.
like small orcs.
Okay. And they had taken the helmet.
They eventually got possession of it. Not exactly sure how it got there.
This is strange indeed. I
And
suppose. So if you're talking, he doesn't.
yeah, and looked like the goblins didn't exactly know what to make of it either.
This is very strange. If the goblins have taken possession of the helmet, that means that the messenger must have been waylaid, which means that the helmet never arrived with the Kree there.
What did we do with the helmet?
He's like muttering to himself under his breath.
You guys should still have it in your inventory as the GM talking.
Okay.
GM's not hearing this, but Carvet has it in his backpack.
Yeah. No, I know.
We didn't leave it in Trestlebridge, huh?
No, I've
I
got
figured
it.
you knew. I thought you were deliberately just not revealing that you had it.
I'm not saying anything.
Hey.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, we have a talkative hobbit here.
Oh. But yeah, Carve still does have the helmet.
Do you still have that?
That's redundant. Talkative hobbit.
She asked you a question, Carvet.
I'm sorry. What was that? Finally,
The helmet. I want
Helmet.
to see if it's the same
Helmet.
one he's talking about.
we have seen many helmets in our travels. Finally, which one are you referring to?
If you
I
liberated-
You don't happen to have the helmet that you're
you-
talking about in your possession currently.
Okay, do you want me to test how good your armor is against my spear?
Feisty today, aren't we?
Just don't call her little lady.
Carvet mutters under his breath something about hobbits and their too quick nature to trust folk. Yeah,
She is not a
grunts
girl.
and
She will
moans.
learn in time to be wary.
He grunts and mutters, and he says, "What would such a helmet mean to your people? I believe I have seen something like this before."
That's an understatement.
Shut it, hobbit! Let the man speak.
Put it back in the body bag.
While you're having this exchange, not Phil, but the other three, they're
I think we
having
broke
this
finally.
conversation among themselves.
We broke him. Sorry, Greg. Go ahead. You were saying?
Just while you're having this discussion, I mean, just for your information, the other three are also talking amongst themselves.
I mean, the one good thing is I'm assuming that they don't really understand totally the gist of what we're saying here.
No, they didn't.
Especially
We're
how
talking
fast we're talking.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yes, you just got to remember is that the entire reason why I'm out here relates to this helmet, so finding out more about it is...
You also got to understand, I don't know a thing about this guy, and I don't trust any of him.
Well, that doesn't matter.
So I'm like, I don't want to reveal that we've got their priceless artifact. They may decide that they want it back by hook or crook, and I'm not in the mood to...
I just like Carve's situation. Not only does he not trust these new strangers who are talking about similar pieces of armor, but he doesn't even trust the people that he found the helmet with.
Well,
He's a dwarf.
I trust El Hobbito and Elfo a little bit more than I trust Sarissa and Andang at this point. But I'm still kind of like...
But
I'm
still,
very
small
wary.
amounts. I mean,
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, okay, what's their game here? Because so far I've heard that there's ancient evils being attached to certain kind of histories, and there was this alternative kingdom of hillmen, and these crests are a part of that heritage. And I've seen there's a helmet and there's a cloak, and now these guys are looking for another piece of armor. Something is going on, and right now my dwarven conspiracy senses are tingling, and I'm thinking, why does this hobbit keep talking? I want to know more information before we do anything. 'Cause I'm not really happy that the other three guys are gibbering in something that I can understand. I want more information out of Fuel.
And Andang is just thinking, why didn't we trade in the helmet for a better place to sleep last night?
What does Andang have to say about the place to sleep? He had the bed to himself.
Well, that's true, but I do have concerns other than just myself, you know.
Uh-huh.
I don't even want to know what that means.
I'm not sure any of us want to know what that means. So anyway, Sarissa has picked up on the fact that Pineleaf seems convinced that Carvet has this piece of armor.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's going to directly interrogate Carv about this piece of armor that he apparently seems to have, according to
Because this
the
is
Hobbit.
news to you, right? I mean, you've never.
Yeah, because
Right.
we weren't with you guys when you found it. So,
Right.
so you've seen a similar piece of armor, and according to Pineleaf over here, you seem to have it in your possession. It
Are we
might
doing
be
this?
worth taking out to compare it to whatever symbol they're talking about.
Are we doing this within earshot of them?
Absolutely.
Joel's just sort of standing there with his arms crossed, just sort of like straight line emoticon.
Fuel is unimpressed.
And like he's definitely regarding you more suspiciously now, because Pineleaf is letting slip that you might actually have this helmet with you.
And Carv's behaving sort
Suspiciously.
of suspiciously, yes.
Sir Dwarf, you are behaving in an irresponsibly
manner, yes, I am. Forgive
an
me.
irresponsibly
A little bit
suspicious
cautious.
manner. You're making us all look like criminals. Come on, fork it over.
Fork what's over? I told you, I have seen a helmet like that in our travels. Yes, it is in a safe place.
Well, Pineleaf seems to think that you have it in your possession.
Well, Pineleaf might be an
You may
error
not
on
have
that.
any respect for this hobbit, but I do.
I'm
Well,
trying to
Terry-
think, what safe place have we been in since?
While Terry is talking to this guy, I want to try to do a stealth and get the helmet from Carv.
Okay. Okay, so Andang just did a stealth roll. Carve, do a wits roll.
Oh man.
Okay. Yeah, Andang, you.
Jeez.
Too busy
Carve's
arguing.
probably distracted by this new minstrel who's
Loudmouth.
interrogating him. So, what exactly do you do, Andang? You're stealthy.
Well, I'm guessing it's in his like backpack or something like that. So I kind of come around from behind and reach into the bag and take the helm. I'm assuming without Carv even noticing. With that kind of a roll.
Because
Yeah.
he's focused on me, because I'm being a distraction.
And so then I kind
You
of
made quite a
just
team.
take it over and
Yeah, I was gonna
carefully
say.
offer it over to the other guys, showing them the helm.
So, Carve doesn't notice you take the helmet, but do any of them, like, are you still trying to be stealthy in giving it to Fjall?
No, everyone else in the party can totally see what's going on. It's just Carv that's oblivious.
Oh, okay. So is anyone else going to act on that? You see Andang sort of slip around while Carve is focused and remove the helmet from the bag.
Well, I have no reason to stop him.
Me neither.
Sarissa, how do you react to see this helmet?
See, I knew Pineleaf was right. You had the helmet with you. Why couldn't you have just admitted it? Saved us all a bunch of trouble.
So Fjall says, "Please, may I see the helmet?"
And I offer it to him.
Okay. And now, as he's taking the helmet, the three friends, they abruptly stop talking and they like they're paying attention to what's going on. They won't understand anything that's being said, but they're paying close attention to any moves you might be making. So Fjol examines the helmet, and he says, "Yes, this is the helmet of Queenaka. You say you found this off of a goblin.
Yes.
Please sit. There is a long story to be told."
Very well. I will sit.
So we are doing story time with Maven, only with another person.
Your baker has improved our meal somewhat. Here, please share. And he passes his plate around.
And what's my assessment? And I have a much better cooking skills than she
I'm going to surreptitiously signal to everybody that don't eat it. Like, it's really not very good.
Okay. The other three
But
also
politely decline.
They offer their meals. Everyone declines?
What? I don't.
Just we
I
do.
probably wouldn't have noticed hers. I mean, you're offering a hobbit food.
That's
Do we-
true. True.
Do we think they'd be offended if we decline?
Do you have any culture skills?
Probably not.
Let's see.
Certainly not Hillman. Culture Hillman.
So go ahead, give me a traveler roll, even though you
Okay.
don't have it. Okay, you have no idea what their customs would be.
All right.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I will sniff and see what my opinion is of it.
Okay. So as has been said, it's like soggy bread, kind of. Actually, it's probably less soggy now because it's been drying and hardening while all of this was going on.
With spices.
Is this the one with spices, or is this from one of the three who are still sitting down?
Well, he did say improved.
Okay. So how does it how do you react when you eat it?
Well, let's see.
It's probably a lot worse than what you're used to from Stout.
Yes, I would say I'll see if there's anything in my backpack that can improve it.
Right.
That can make it palatable.
Sure.
Make a cooking roll?
Yes, please. Oh wow, yeah.
Finally sprinkles magic dust on it, and all of a sudden it tastes like a 4-course meal. I've got some cinnamon and some sugar, cardamom.
I just imagine finally having like this whole cooking pack, like
Breaks out some honey, pours it in there, stirs it up. All right, now we're talking second breakfast, baby.
The four of them are just sort of standing agape as Pineley just pulls out just item after item from this small bag. this TARDIS of a bag.
Oh yeah.
Chris is sort of looking forlornly at her little pouch that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff in it.
I knew I should have tried to steal the stove. I knew I should have tried to steal the stove.
Versus imitation cook.
So, are you a baker then, little girl?
Little girl.
Actually, I'm a constable.
Constable?
A guard?
A guard?
Yeah.
Wow. Where you come from, they certainly start you early.
At which point Pine Leaf is thinking,
They teach the women to cook at a young age. They teach them how to fight and stand watch. Perhaps my people have much to learn from them. They would not get thrown out by the orcs.
Well, our people are small as adults.
Tell them how old you are.
Yes, I am. I'm 35.
He just starts laughing. He motions back, like, subtitle, like, she says she is 35 years old. Everyone starts laughing. I do not know if maybe I am understanding the term year correctly.
You thinking I meant seasons?
Yeah, that would seem more accurate, given your status and your willingness to trust strangers. But it is okay. We teach our children to stand guard a little bit. We would not send them ranging so far from home, but they know to keep watch at night. May I? And he wants to try this thing that you concocted. What's it like now? You started with basically mushy, slightly hard bread. What do you have now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see.
Bread pudding.
Yeah, I guess that would, since it was slightly mushy, it's probably turning it into a pudding would probably be the best thing. Bread pudding spiced with cinnamon and some ginger and some dab of orange peel.
So he sticks 2 fingers into the pudding and tastes it. Let's see what he. Yeah, he loves it. He's like, oh, it is too bad that we are almost out of our rations, or I would ask that you make more of this simply so we can have the pleasure of enjoying it. You are indeed a baker. Your parents have raised you well.
You're a baker.
But we perhaps if I indulge you with more information about this helmet, you will help us look for our missing greave.
Very well.
Okay. A long time ago, over 1,000 years ago, our people came from over the mountains to the east, and we settled in these plains regions south of the mountains. There were other of our kinsmen who were adventurous and went to go explore north of the mountains, but we have not heard of them in some time. But and he stops and thinks, and then he my mind was not made for figures, but a long time ago there was a kingdom in this land before even these nearby villages were built. The ruins in which we are sitting, this was a mighty fortress under that kingdom. And we were friendly, my ancestors and the people of this kingdom. We were gifted this copper-wrought armor as a token of goodwill between our 2 peoples. There were 7 pieces of the armor, and we decided to share it amongst our clan. So each clan took the armor that we were given, and we imprinted our stamp upon it. Ours, was the greave. This helmet belonged to a different tribe, and this is their emblem. Andang, I'm going to ask you because this is what I was supposed to look up that I forgot to do.
Okay.
Do you remember what the symbol was exactly?
Yeah, it was. You mean just
circle?
a general? It was just a circle with the.
It was a circle of stars.
Circle of stars with each one 7-sided star
Okay.
around a broken crown.
Okay. This, as you see, belonged to a different tribe. This is not our emblem. Ours is much nicer. And so, do any of you have any questions at this point, or should he continue?
Was there any kind of animosity between your tribes and other peoples of Middle-earth?
Initially, not at first. But then the kingdom was divided, and we found ourselves the king of the land in which we found ourselves living was not very friendly towards us, and their people mistreated us, as is the way of people. Eventually, we had intermarried, and my ancestors were able to take control of the kingdom. And that is where the story turns dark, I'm afraid. A new kingdom arose north of the mountains, and many of our former kinsmen persuaded us, well, not us, but our ancestors, to fight with them against the kingdom that had wronged us. And so we had taken it over, and we went to war with the other splinter kingdoms. And eventually they were driven out and destroyed. But our ancestors had been tricked, and as soon as we had driven away the kingdom, the northerners attacked us as well and scattered our 7 clans. Our armor was stolen and brought north, and we did not know what had happened to it for a long time. About 3 moons ago, a messenger came to us from one of our other clans, who they live far to the east of here, and they brought this grieve with them, and they said that the time for convocation had come. In our language, we call it Queenaka. And this was sort of the pipe dream for the past 1,000 years, that one day the clans would reunite. And when that would happen, the armor would be returned to us, and we would meet. And whoever we chose as our new leader would get to wear all the pieces of the armor once again. So you see, the fact that one of our clans did not receive their helmet bodes ill for them, because they will not know. And if history is any indicator, the people who sent us this armor will likely take that as an insult, and there may be repercussions. This is why we are so eager to find our own piece of armor, so that it is not seen as an act of betrayal against our king. So
Yes,
will you help us recover this?
I will help you.
I'm in.
As will I.
I'll help.
For the sake of the hobbit and the elf.
If it is not too much to ask, might I keep this helmet for the time being? After all, I am kin with the clan to whom this belongs.
For the time being,
If you can help us recover the grieve, would you be willing to help us return this helmet to our brethren?
that's a party decision for sure. What do you guys think?
I think we should.
Yes.
Definitely sounds like a worthy cause.
Okay. We will do it then.
Once again, majority
Might be
wins.
shiny.
Sarissa figures there's probably treasure involved.
Loot!
So, Carv, how do you seem to be the only one who isn't on board with this decision and just going on? What are your thoughts right now?
At this point, information that was need to know was given to somebody we can't trust as a complete outsider. The 2 new party members that I still don't trust basically distracted me and looted my bag.
Sorry about
Therefore, I don't trust them even more now. And if it wasn't for the fact that I still feel somewhat guilty about sacking Pineleaf to begin with, and I feel like May will probably get herself killed if she doesn't have somebody protecting her. Carvette's basically going along with the majority at this point, but still quite surly.
So just to get a better idea of your character, are you going along with the majority, or are you going along with Pineleaf and May?
At this point, it's the majority.
Okay. Thank you. Do you think we can cover more ground if we split up? Okay, actually, backing up a bit, I guess sort of while you were having this discussion, he was also talking with his companions about what the plan was going to be. That they're going to search for you are going to search for the armor with them and help you return them, or help them return the. He's telling them you, which for you is them, and so you're going to help them return the helmet to the other them, to whom the helmet belongs.
That's not confusing at all.
Tolkien couldn't follow this plot.
That's the standard grammatical construction in their language. It twists around on itself a lot.
Yeah, no wonder they're speaking gibberish.
Boy, their language is almost as confusing as English.
So Fuel finally comes back to you, or it turns back to you and says, "Okay, so it is settled. Perhaps should we travel together? There is safety in numbers, or we could cover more ground by splitting up. What do you think? Plainly, I cannot leave my companions, or they cannot converse with the rest of you.
Okay.
While I believe that you are trustworthy enough to be left to scout the ruins on your own, I would understand if you did not feel the same about me and my friend."
Wow, he's a pretty understanding guy.
We could split up where it's the dwarf and them, and then the rest of us in another group. I did not say that out loud.
Thank goodness.
You'd have to roll a dexterity check for the glare that you would have been shot had you said that out loud.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What should we do?
Well, do we have a general idea of where the helmet is?
We have already been to the site of our former camp, and there was nothing left there. If, as you say, the goblins were so interested with the helmet, it may be that the orcs have taken it to perhaps a storeroom of their own, but we do not know how the orcs arranged their camp.
If there's
we
anything left,
we
after
would be
20
exploring these ruins as blind as you.
Probably then we could just start by looking at the remains of the orc camp.
I would suggest that we try to pilfer the memories of Sarissa and Andang, since they were here torching the place. Maybe they could remember something before the blaze. Remember, it's pillage, then burn.
That's a good
Now
question,
he tells
actually.
us.
Gray, do Andang or I remember anything about the camp that might give us a clue?
Or was it kind of like a Rohan, just slaughter them all and put the orcs in a pile and burn the place?
No, come on, I don't operate that way.
Let the hunters
Yeah.
sort them out.
I would say, like, as Sarissa says, you probably did do the pillage and burn tactic. However, this was during the evening and early morning, right?
Yeah.
And the way that the landscape is, it's very scraggly, and the ruins, if you weren't trying to pay attention to how things are arranged, then it all looks the same from just looking at them. That being said, if you do an exploration roll, I'll give you a +1 because you have been in the area before.
Okay.
So, is that happening? But-
Yeah, I just rolled.
Okay. Are you taking the four of them with you? The Arana with you?
I think. What do you guys think? Should we just stay in a big group for now?
I
I
think we
think
should
we
stay in a
should.
big group.
I think it's best to stay together until we have some idea of what we're walking into.
Yeah.
Okay. The Axeman doesn't. I mean, while Fjall is explaining this to them, they have some sort of argument. He still doesn't seem to trust you, but he submits to his leader, and so they go on. So, Andang, you're sort of taking point on wandering around the ruins.
So the axe guy is there carved. Got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
To clarify, though, this isn't like a large battle axe. These are small hand axes, meant for throwing, not for chopping.
Sure.
So if we're going to go with this, then probably, let me see. Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
So,
Rukaza.
I rolled a 1, so it's bad for me, good for you. So this conversation's probably taken like a half hour to an hour while you were eating, and so it's about 8 or 9 in the morning ish right now because you left at like daybreak, right?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, and then it took you time to get there. So like the sun's not directly overhead yet, and Anding basically is just sort of taking a direct route through the ruins. And so you arrive at this particular feature where it's like the foundations of what used to be a tower. And there's a wooden staircase going up inside these stone walls up to a landing, which would have been the first floor of the tower. But then on top of that, the stone has fallen down, and it's just open up there. You can climb up the stairs if you'd like. There's like small cobwebs around. Doesn't look like anyone's been here for a while. Is Anding giving a tour?
Yeah. I'm just like pointing out like, and here on our left is where I slayed 3 orcs, and over on our
the orcs would still be there. So
Okay.
Checking.
And are you doing a Corey Olson?
kind of, yeah.
No, he's not looking at walls. He can't possibly be doing an Olsen. As Carv is inspecting this particular ruin, he's looking for signs of traffic in whichever direction it might have gone. If I'm seeing cobwebs and things on the steps that would indicate people have not traversed the steps, then I'm not going to bother going up there.
okay.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna go poking for loot. Because
Yeah, so-
obviously I
Any
missed
more
that
details
spot
if
the
we
last time
move
we were there.
closer?
So what order is this happening? Is Carv looking closer, or is Sarissa just going up the tower?
Let's have Carv look closer first.
Yeah, Carve probably. Yeah, because I need him to not be looking at me when I go up it.
Okay, so can you
So
give
after
me...
Carve has written it off.
Carv doesn't want to get in trouble because we're not paying attention to what's going on.
Uh-huh.
I'm very cautious at this point.
I'm totally looking for loot.
I'm looking for an
Obviously, I
ambush.
missed that spot the first time.
I'm looking to see if there's passage of foes, if anybody's been around.
So give me either a survival or a wits check. Wits will give you more general knowledge. Survival will give you specifically, has anyone been around lately? If so, which direction did they go? Is this
I'm
Carv
going
is doing
wits.
this? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Lucky for you. So the cobwebs, as you look closer, they're more around the stairs, but on the stairs themselves, there's no cobwebs. There's not even that much dust. But you can clearly because you can see the landing because the walls have crumbled away. There's no one up there now. So that much is clear for anyone looking.
Can we see anything shiny up there?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, like you can see that there's nothing up there because if someone was up there, they'd be big enough that you could see them. But if there are any other things sitting on the landing up there, you wouldn't be able to tell that from your angle.
Okay.
So is Sarissa now gonna take the stairs?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone going with her? Or just Sarissa?
I'll be
follow
going
at a
along.
safe
I'll
distance.
watch.
I'll follow at a safe distance.
All right, now
I'm watching.
What's a
for-
safe
Go along.
distance? Are
Enough to
you
see
going
if,
up the
like,
stairs?
enough to see if there's like a button that she presses accidentally, or like some type of trap that she might get
Okay.
into that I
I'm
wouldn't get
definitely.
into.
I'm actually doing the Corey Olsen thing. I'm looking around at the architecture more than anything else.
all right. Now is that the only place that looks interesting? Is up the stairs?
With this particular patch of the ruins, yeah. Everything else you can look around if you'd like, and it's just the scraggly brush.
Well,
if
I'm
you want
just going-
to check
I
the
will
ground
go-
for activity that you can do.
Any place that is likely to have the groove. If there's any place else that looks like it's a possibility of a place where it could be, I will look there. Otherwise, I'll go up the tower.
What are the other guys doing while we're doing this?
They're looking at the ruins. It means nothing to them. One of them is probably talking with the other about how like he caught one of their children playing up there when they shouldn't have been doing so. But to answer Pineley's question, I don't know if I'm doing a good job at describing this, but it's kind of like a broken circle, like a cross section of a circle going up.
Okay.
And so there's stairs going around the inside of the walls up to that landing.
Okay.
So you can see like underneath the stairs area. If you want to try digging about in the overgrowth, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Now I think of it as it doesn't look like a very safe set of stairs. So yeah, I'm going to check the undergrowth.
Okay.
yeah. Stairs aren't safe things to go up. So yeah, I'll do the undergrowth instead.
Okay. Did you have a particular rule in mind? Or
not really. Whatever looks like something could possibly be hidden there, you know.
Okay. I guess that's just a wits check, unless you want to try.
Any particular roll? Okay, now I see what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
Roll. Let me see. Now I see what you mean. Let me see if there's anything here that will be.
While everybody's looking through dirt and dust and roots and stuff, I'm on the lookout for tracking people.
Is this what everyone except for Sarissa is doing, I guess?
Yeah, Sarissa's totally going up the stairs looking for loot.
Well, I'm kind of following fairly close behind, but making sure that like I don't fall off the stairs if there's like a break in the stairs or something.
Okay.
And he's learned that if he steps on the back of my feet, I'm going to punch him.
Well, there's that too.
Yes. Let's see. I'm trying to think if anything here like tactics, engineering, and herb lore are the closest things I could see to this. I don't know.
So whichever one you roll, that'll just affect the things that you're on the lookout for. If you just want general information, then roll wits.
Okay, well, since I'm checking the bushes and stuff like this, I might as well use an herb roll.
Okay.
Okay, I cannot recognize a single one of these herbs.
Yeah, it's dried out beyond recognition, probably.
Yes.
Okay. Sarissa.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a fate roll, but add a 2 modifier. If you'll notice at the top, there's a new thing for roll modifier. Since we're not, so you can set it there instead of specifying after the click.
There's a new thing where?
Fate.
At the top of your character sheet.
Underneath destiny points, there's
Oh,
roll
I see it.
modifier.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good fate.
Nothing happens. This was
Nothing happens.
this was to see if the stairs collapsed underneath the weight of you and Dan.
Yeah, that's why I was rolling an engineering check to see if the building looks safe.
Oh, that's what you. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to do that? I guess after the fact, since nothing has actually happened for the characters.
There's my roll. What do you think? Did I notice anything?
Carve like doing all these calculations, and he looks, and we're already at the top of the stairs, and he's like,
"Those stairs are safe, I guess." All right.
Do I find anything up there?
Okay, so at the top of the stairs, there's more overgrowth on the wood, which probably is strange to you. But it's not that it's grown over. It looks like it's been brought up here from below, and to make like a sort of mat. There are little bags of sand sort of stacked up against one of the walls. There's like a bedroll against one wall. And so this looks like a place where someone might have been sleeping. That's all you can see at first glance.
Okay. Is there anything in the bags of sand? I will totally dump them out to check.
Okay, so you dump open the bags of sand, and
Yep.
you find that inside all the sand are actually arrows. There's probably like a couple dozen arrows hidden amongst all the bags if you open them all.
What a weird
And so
place to hide arrows.
they're kind of, they're not the normal length that you're used to. They're a little bit shorter. And it's like stone carved arrowheads with.
Hobbit arrows?
No, hobbits would have had better arrows than that. It sounds like more primitive, either orc or maybe even hillman.
What skills would you like to try identifying who made them?
Well, if she wants to call down, hey, I found some arrows!
I'm up there with them, so I could do probably insight
Or maybe soldier.
or soldier.
Whichever.
Okay.
So, like, what exactly are you? So you're applying your knowledge
Trying
of
to
soldiers.
see at least that it's not orcs. I might not be able to see anything beyond that, but I want to make sure that it's
Okay.
not like orcs.
Yeah, you've seen orc arrows before, and they do have metal work, and their arrows are usually metal arrowheads. So this is not of orc make. It's probably some type of human.
Okay. That's good to know. I relay that to Sarissa.
Okay. Yep, I'm totally still checking for loot.
Okay.
I saw some sand fall down between the cracks. What's going on up there? You guys okay?
Car's really
Okay.
worried about the engineering.
Found some bags of sand up here with arrows in them.
Could you toss one of those arrows down so that I can have a look at it? Don't hit me.
I'll carefully toss one down the carve.
Okay. I'm just trying to think how that would actually, because it's like the stairs, so you
I guess
probably
we could
threw
just
it down and like
fall-
clatters off of two, like balances on the edge, and then just falls onto the floor. So, Carb, what would you like to do with it?
I will just have a look at the arrow like Gending did. Then I roll. I've probably never seen anything like it.
It's an arrow.
Yep. It's an arrow. It's short. It's shorter than a man's arrow, but it's probably more like a hobbit or a dwarven arrow, but that's all I know, and it's primitive. Okay.
Okay, so back upstairs. Is there anywhere else that you're checking?
I'm
Let's check-
checking everywhere. Under the mat, under the...
I'm checking
Road?
in the bed for sure. Making
Yeah.
sure there's nothing in there that's hidden,
Okay.
like under the pillow and
You know,
stuff
all
like
the
that.
usual places that people would normally hide their valuables.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing in the bedroll. If you clear some of the brush that's on the floor, you'll find the bow, and it's like a standard length bow. I guess you have the time to examine it. So it's finely polished. It was clearly hidden there so no one would find it because it might be valuable. String is still taut, and whoever's it is probably intended to come back for it.
So in other words, you're telling me that there's nothing on this landing but a bunch of useless junk.
Well,
a
if
nice
you
bow,
consider
it
weapons
cannot
to be
be
useless
junk.
junk, then yes.
Yes.
Hold on now.
It's
How
not
nice is that
shiny
bow?
that I can sell.
Would this bow be better than my bow as a champion?
Like how old is your bow? I guess.
That's a good question. My bow's
Where did
probably
you get
like
this bow?
my bow's probably like a starter bow.
So, like when you left home to go adventuring as a young lad.
Maybe a little more recent than that,
He
but
bought
basic.
it in Arcade.
Okay.
Guy, it's gray.
Is like made out of branches or better than that?
I trained with rangers, so I'm guessing it's at least like somewhat
Oh, I see.
decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Saradin's bow.
It's comparable.
Okay.
The craftsmanship isn't on par with the Rangers, but and like you would, having been with them for a while, you would recognize their craft. It's not their craft, but for non-ranger craft, it's exceedingly good.
I go down to the dwarf and offer it to him.
Dwarf has a good look at it. Takes the bow, still sneers at Andang. Dwarf again checks to see if the bow has any distinguishing markings to figure out where it comes from.
As a crafter yourself, you're probably impressed by the level of attention that this has received. You probably noticed like the way that the polish has gone with the grain, and it's smooth to handle. Someone spent a lot of time with it. You couldn't tell based on your inspection who might have made it. But it's not dwarf craft. You would know that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe the Hobbit would know.
All right, you're going to show me the bow then?
Here, have a look, Piney.
All right, very well.
A bow. I have
I
a bow.
will-
I picked it up in Bree. No, wait. Trestle Bridge? Somewhere I picked up a bow. I don't know.
I've probably noticed him bringing it downstairs, but that's beside the point.
Are you inspecting it as well?
Yeah, I might as well inspect the bow.
Okay.
And let's see, best thing to use probably. Let's see, would that be engineering or tactics or?
Do you have any? Where's your character sheet? I'm looking at the wrong one.
I'm more in thrown weapons.
Yeah.
Is more what I know of.
You might lore people might tell you who would have crafted
Oh,
it.
lore people. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You have probably seen similar craftsmanship among the people in Trestlebridge as you were walking about town.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like it was made in Trestlebridge.
Okay.
Yeah. I was wondering when you would.
I'm like, these other guys are
Yeah.
sitting there watching us check out this bow. Do any of them look like...
Are you approaching them at all with what you have? If not,
If they want to hear from me, somebody needs to walk over there and get a little bit more diplomacy and say, know anything about this?
If Carve gave it to him, he'd just like thrust the arrow at him and be like,
We're like,
It's because you've been giving stuff to Carve, and they're keeping their distance from him specifically.
Since I'm downstairs, I kind of offer the arrow, which I'm assuming Carve is no longer holding on to them to inspect.
So you hand it to Fuel, I assume, or do you hand it to one of his companions?
I'll hand it to Fuel, since we know
Okay.
him best.
So Fuel looks at it, he confers with them, and says, "This arrow is one of our kin who we lost contact with them a while ago, but we recognized they were known for their craft in making weapons of war. We believe that they are still in league with the kingdom to the north.
Mm.
It is surprising to have found their weaponry where the orcs had made their camp. Whatever this means, it does not bode well for our clan."
there's a mole in Trestlebridge. I'm telling you.
Well, he said it's like the craft in Trestlebridge. He didn't say that it is from Trestlebridge.
You know,
so-
Finally said it's from Trestlebridge, so... saying there was a dude who finally saw a note and somebody took it and left. Saying there's potentially somebody was like, oh, that didn't go well. I'm out of here. Peace. There's conspiracy afoot. I can smell it on the wind. Or was that Pine Leaf's breakfast?
So are you still around the ruins? Or...
Well, I think
Maybe
there's
we'll gather
clearly
up
nothing
all of
else.
the arrows and take them with us.
Okay.
Maybe I'll find somebody who can buy them.
But yeah, there's clearly nothing else upstairs, at least. So I think we can move on to another
You've
part.
torn the place apart.
Yeah.
Some dude's gonna be so mad when he gets back to his campsite.
I'd like to think that Andang even started trying to pry up the floorboards before Sarissa stopped him because that's what they're standing on.
Carver's watching this going, man, that minstrel sure is greedy. Minstrel. Andang's just Andang.
Pretty much. All right, let's move on to the next spot.
Let's find something else to look into, shall we?
Do Sarissa and Andang, do you describe what you've seen in the room to everyone else?
Sure.
About like the bedroll and everything.
Yes.
Because so far as everyone else knows, you just found a bunch of weapons up there.
When we come down, we relay what we saw.
He relays what we saw.
Okay.
Including the four, or just your friends.
Yeah, including the four, because they seem to know way more than we do. So.
Okay. It was only the four of us who set out from our clan to these ruins, and as far as I know, everyone else was accounted for. I would be on alert as we continue wandering about.
Wise words.
Okay, so are we hitting the road again?
Let's find another ruin to pilfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to scout, rather.
Alright, who's exploring this time? Still Andang? Tour guide Andang?
I can if nobody else wants to.
Well, you've been here before, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll an explore too, just to see what
I'll
we
tell.
find.
Okay.
I'll tell Carve to take the lead.
You don't get a +1.
No, that's straight
not
up.
that it matters. Okay, so you go about. Actually, let me do another
But yeah, just out of
roll that
courtesy,
none of you knows what.
I offer Carve the lead here.
You guys are lucking out.
We are.
What I'm basically doing is rolling to see what encounter happens while you're traveling, and this time and the last time, no encounter is happening.
The infamous wandering monster table?
Basically. So, Carve leading the way now. Is there anything you're looking for in particular?
We're looking specifically for places where there looks like signs of activity that would indicate more than just our campsite. I'm looking for storerooms, looking for places where it looks like an orc or somebody may have gone into a ruin, under a ruin, someplace that might have more than just an open terrain, or even if there's a bush that looks like it's got something hiding under it, what have you.
Never give the GM ideas like that, Carve.
Well, just going based on my table that you've rolled on. You make your way through the ruins. So if you're probably looking for some of the larger pieces of rubble, since that's where people would be hiding things. That's where a storeroom might have been set up. And so you make your way. You're up against like the cliff, and there's been at some point someone had arranged like bricks that were hewn from the ruins, and there's like an enclosure built up against the cliff wall. And there is a wooden door with an iron padlock on the front. It's locked from the outside. And Fiol says, this was where we kept our food supplies, I believe. If I am not mistaken, all of these cliffs start to look the same after a while. But that is not our lock. I would, if I had to guess, I would say that the orcs have repurposed this.
If only we had
There's that, or they really want to protect that food.
Yeah, I doubt it's an orc lock.
Could be. Could be goblin tech, you don't know.
Okay, could I check it for... Could I check it then for...
The lock?
Yeah, for lore people, see if I could figure out how to make
Sure, okay. Yeah, it's too... the word I want to say is delicate. I don't mean that it's fragile, I mean that it's too intricate. The orcs would have been too clumsy to have made something like this.
Well, it's not orc make then.
As somebody who may or may not have a familiarity with locks, could I roll lure people to see if I can find out?
You can. Before you do, as Pineleaf was getting closer to the lock to inspect it, you can hear like shuffling noises coming from inside.
Something there.
Yeah. This was forged, and so it's clearly not orc make. It's too fine for that, but it's also from some, I guess we'd say, like a technologically advanced people.
Dwarves?
I don't know. Does a dwarf make?
Possibly. I guess Carve would recognize it's not dwarf make.
Okay.
I was gonna say we don't want to accidentally let out Durin's Bane here, guys.
Say, I've got a shield. I can take the edge of my shield and bash the lock. Not that I want to.
Can I try to pick it?
Yeah, that would be your sabotage skill. Okay. I'll give it to you, but it takes you a while. And so all this time, while you're picking the lock, you're probably getting distracted because you can hear these shuffling noises. A couple of times you can hear like something's hit the door while you were fumbling with the lock. And you probably also hear like some raspy breath and maybe like some dull mutterings coming from the other side.
Okay, do we all hear this?
Sarissa, are you letting people watch as you pick the lock?
We kind of see she walks up to the door.
I mean, like,
she's fumbling with it.
Clearly, they see that you're fumbling with it, but are you right up next to the door? Like, this is something that you have to be next to the door to hear. So if she's the only one who's next to the door, she's the only one who hears it.
I'm right up next to the door because I need to get close to get a really good look at it.
I'm probably like putting up a police line and saying, "Everyone back up while while Sarissa does her thing."
Well, she looks at the lock,
for a really long time.
Does anybody have any idea what's behind this door?
And I'm totally not telling anybody that I hear stuff because I'm in total focus mode.
Okay, but I did hear something behind the door at some point.
Right. You heard the shuffling. That's all.
Right, and I did warn the others about that.
Correct.
There's something behind the door, and I'll bet you it's locked for a reason from the outside. I've got my shield and my axe in my hands right now, standing behind Sarissa at a respectful distance.
I think I better
Don't be
ready my
behind
shield
me.
also.
You want to be in the direction the door is going to open.
Fine, I shift over 2 feet
I'm
to
going
the
to hide
right.
behind the door when it opens.
Fine.
Field probably notices Carve is getting tense, and Pineleaf, did you mention like to him as well?
If I see Carvet preparing for battle, just in case something comes out there, that sort of gives me the same hint on the matter. I am going to get my shield ready, just in case something pops out.
And I kind of look back and also kind of
It's going
get
to turn out to be like
The
a dog.
minstrel and the hobbit, the minstrel and the hobbit seem to indicate there's a shuffling beyond the door, and it was locked from the outside. Not a good sign.
Right.
Better be prepared than dead.
No. Let's be fair. The Hobbit indicated that there were shuffling noises. The minstrel has said nothing about any noises or anything going on behind this door.
Well, we've already established Carve doesn't trust what you're saying right now, so go with the hobbit. You haven't said anything, which I consider.
I just need to clarify that I've not actually said anything
true.
about anything being behind the door.
But you're suspiciously looking at the door for a long time, so I'm assuming it's.
I'm
open.
examining the lock very, very carefully.
Okay.
Yes, apparently her parents must have been locksmiths or something.
So, after some amount of time, probably like 5 to 10 minutes or so, not super long, but long enough for you to have gotten nervous and started getting ready for whatever might be happening. I guess to the rest of you, it looks like the lock just magically falls open. And basically, as soon as when the lock is off, the door does not open on its own. So does Sarissa open the door?
Yep, she opens the door and stands behind it.
Sure. as soon as the door opens, like there's a pale, emaciated goblin comes like scrabbling out, and he's got like a rusty knife in one hand, and then he's just looking around. Who's standing closest to the door?
Probably
Probably
me.
That's
since I
probably
was making
Endang.
the face.
Okay, and
And I had said I drew my swords earlier, so because I
okay,
was getting nervous with Carvin Pine.
yeah. So he's gonna attack you.
Great.
So you can try to sidestep him, or you can combat him. Up to you.
No, I'm gonna fight him like a champion.
Okay. Give me your roll.
All right, let's see here.
Okay. You've probably. I'd like to think, and we can change this if you don't want it, but you turn to attack him, and then you like stumble through your own police line and get to the moment. So now give me an agility check. So you haven't been able to make the first move, but we'll see if you dodge his attack.
Let's see, agility. There we go.
Okay, yeah. So he's swinging wildly. He's frenzied, and so you basically just once you untangle yourself, you just back away. Is anyone else doing anything at this point?
As I'm backing away, I'm like, who would put a goblin behind a lock?
All right. Do I have a clear shot?
Probably for what, a javelin throw?
Yes.
How good are you with a javelin?
Javelin, that's throwing
Okay,
skills.
yeah. He's moving around a lot, but Andang's not in the way.
While Endang and Pineleaf are discussing how this is working,
I'm not
I
discussing.
love.
I'm throwing a javelin.
She's throw the javelin.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, it cuts through his leg probably, so he's hopping around slower now. The image I have in my mind is like when Gollum is like dancing with the ring. That's basically what he's doing, except he's slashing with a rusty knife. And let me see if I can do. What's your damage, Pineleaf?
Oh, it's 1d6.
1d6. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, what's his name again? I can't remember their names. Gala.
Google Hangout totally just froze.
Yeah, I did on my end too.
I don't know what you said, Gray. Gray, come back to us, Gray. What happens
Hello?
next?
There we
Hello?
go. You cut out, so go ahead and repeat what happened.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You're getting ready to say the
Gala.
name of whoever.
Yeah, Gala, the one with, or sorry, not Gala. Balin, the one with the throwing axes. He's gonna chuck an axe in that direction,
Okay.
and he hits. Okay. It slices across the shoulder. It doesn't stick though. The goblin's moving a lot slower now. He's probably going to try to connect with Andang again. Unless someone else tries to make a move.
I throw a tomato at him and yell at him to taunt him.
And I taunt him a second time.
Are you doing an intimidate roll? Or?
Yeah, we'll intimidate him. Sure, why not?
Okay.
Where is my intimidate skill? Do I have intimidate skills here somewhere, right?
It's other skills.
So what skills?
Other skills.
Other
Second
skills.
column.
Other skills. Intimidate. Oh, there it is.
Okay. Yeah. So what? You throw a tomato at him and start insulting him? Or?
Yeah, I start yelling at him to gather his attention.
Okay.
Hey, over here! Over here!
Okay, so his eyes focus on you, and he starts scrabbling at you. And you can attack him now if you'd like.
Okay, I will definitely attack him because I would like to do that, and I'm not getting anywhere near him because that worked horribly last time. So I'm gonna fire my ranger bow and maybe hit Carve accidentally. I don't know.
My shield up.
Arrow flies wide. I think now well, you pulled out your bow, and then that got caught in the police tape.
Nothing to see here.
Why did I ever put this up?
Anyone else? Pineleaf, are you going to try to attack again? If not, Balin's going to throw another axe.
I'm going to throw another javelin.
Okay. Okay, yeah. And the rolling damage. Okay. It's a glancing blow, but it does attack him, or it does hit him. It's probably you. While you were preparing to throw the javelin, you were expecting to be going a lot faster. But then when Carve shouted at him, he went slower, so you overshot slightly and just sort of nicked the back of his head.
Oh, well.
So Balin's gonna throw another axe. Wait. Okay. He hits. Let me see what the damage is before saying what happens. Okay. The axe is kind of like implanted in his back, but the goblin is still trying to make its way towards Carve. It's like it's just scrabbling. You can probably see his eyes now are just like glassed over. He's not with the world at all.
Insane.
Who wants to do something?
That was some taunt, Carve.
He's obviously just completely deranged. Carve is going to end his misery by planting his axe in his face.
All right.
Is it a might roll?
At this point, I'm
Actually,
honestly not sure you need to roll.
I'll just throw melee at him.
Just step up to him. That's actually a hit. Because of his frenzy, it was you were given an implicit +1, but I wasn't telling you that. But yeah, you finish him off. He only had 1 hit point left. So there's this goblin corpse just lying in the ground. Now, where's Sarissa?
Sarissa is fully in the room, searching for loot while this fight is going on.
All right. So there's probably a lot of pottery in there. This was, as Fiol surmised, this was a storeroom from the Arana people who had lived there. So there's some pottery. There's probably some grain at
Uh-oh.
the bottom of some. I
don't know what's
assume
saying.
that you're being very thorough.
Yes, I'm being as thorough as the.
Okay. So if you dump everything out, you'll probably find. You find 25 copper coins, I guess, scattered. They were hidden inside the pottery.
Coppers? Really?
Yeah. This is just a storeroom. It's not a bank.
Coppers are practically nothing. Yeah, well, you hide your shiny stuff under your food.
Whoa. Wait. Okay, wait. What's the exchange rate from copper to silver?
It's like 100 coppers to... No, it's 900 coppers to a silver, right?
It's
So I thought
100.
it was 100 coppers to silver and
It's 100 copper to
1,000
silver.
to gold.
Yeah, exactly.
It's rather weird since it's.
I mean, these people would have silver coins. They would not have been that rich. Let's say okay, there's 56 copper.
That's a little better.
And then underneath the table, sort of just cast there, probably kicked there by the goblin while he was in there, is a greave, a piece of armor.
Oh, hey!
Mm.
Does it have the symbol on it that we were looking for?
It's pretty dark in there. You're gonna have to bring it back into the light to see.
Okay. Be fine.
So if you come outside, probably you see it at the same time as everyone else does, just like looking at it, and you see 7 stars in a line with sort of a shattered crown emblem above that line.
So
And
that's
it's just
basically,
a sharp
basically as
intake
the
of
goblin
breath.
dies, with his final Carissa comes triumphantly out. Hey guys, look what I found!
Yeah. And so you like hold it aloft, and the sun catches it at the right angle. It's coppery glow shining in the 10 o'clock sun.
Hey, is that the closing moment for this episode?
Yeah. And there's just a sharp intake of breath and probably an exclamation in a different language. And then yeah, we'll zoom in on the grieve and then cut the episode there.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Tales of the Free Folk. When we return, we'll find out what we're going to be doing next as we discover what the other members that we've recently found want to do. Until then, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again real soon for another episode of Tales of the Free Folk in 2 weeks.